As we speak, there are armed individuals occupying a building on federal parkland in Oregon. The leader of the group has failed to make known what his group wants to surrender the building. They claim to be there for a peaceful protest, yet have made no question about the fact that they are armed and perhaps ready to use their weapons. And across America, there are plenty of people wondering what sets them apart from any other terrorist. As one might expect, there is much more to the story than the standard knee-jerking on both sides, so let's get to it. Our guest is a retired Army colonel who holds a master's in strategic studies at the U.S. Army War College, who isn't in favor of what's happening in Oregon, but blames the government for exacerbating the situation. Colonel Kurt Schlichter joins us. Colonel, I want to thank you very much for joining us. And again, I want to get right to the question here, because in the Federalist, you even pointed out that these people are, and I quote, "They are not looting, they are not rioting, they are trespassing, albeit armed." Wait a minute. If you show up and you've got weapons and you take over a building on federal property, what sets that apart from just any other form of terror?
Well, the main difference is the lack of terror. Who's been threatened? Who's been attacked? What's been burned? What's been stolen? What's been destroyed? I want to be really clear here. I don't people marching into a government building with firearms and taking it over. But I think we need to be very, very clear about what's happening here. And this hyperventilating, mostly coming from the left, about terrorism and all this other stuff, it is just nonsense. What you have is a bunch of people who are largely feeling disenfranchised. You know, I've seen things on social media calling them rednecks and hicks and Neanderthals.
But why do they feel disenfranchised? Colonel, hang on a sec there. Why do they feel so disenfranchised that they have to take over a federal building in order to make their point and can't do it another way?
Well, my point is I'm not sure that they see another way. They see what they believe is a grave injustice in Oregon against the Hammond family, and I'm a trial lawyer too, and while some of it seems legal, procedure-wise, I think the outcome strikes many people as very, very unfair. But this isn't the only thing that people have experienced as unfair. I talk a lot about the rule of law, wrote about in the Federalist today. I served in Kosovo. I've seen what happens when there is no rule of law, when the processes, the rules, the regulations, the system.
Okay, so let's wait right there. Don't we then need to, and I've only got a couple of minutes, I want to make sure we get all this in here. You mentioned the system and the fact that things can get out of hand very quickly here, as you saw in Kosovo. So then don't we need to tamp this down? I mean, before it does get out of hand.
I absolutely agree, and there's really two ways to do it. To understand there are grievances, which include the fact that we're kind of losing the rule of law. We have a president coming out making executive orders limiting our Second Amendment rights. We have people, the Hammonds, for instance, going to jail for 5 years over what doesn't strike normal people as really a criminal act. Yet Hillary Clinton, who is manifestly—
Wait a minute, Colonel, hang on a sec. I got to stop you here. I only got a minute left, but please, let's keep Hillary Clinton out of this and let's focus on the issue right here and make sure that we make this the issue.
Hillary Clinton is the issue. When you have somebody who is a friend of the administration is not being prosecuted as you would, as I would if I had misused classified information, you are saying a standard. You are saying the rule of law. There are two rules of law, one for the friends of the government in power and one for everybody else, one for the little people. And that strikes people as wrong, and it is wrong. And we need to solve that. We need to get back to our constitutional rule where the law applies equally, whether you're powerful or whether you're weak, whether you're rich or you're a poor rancher. If we do that, that's going to solve this problem, and that's the way to do it.
But would you also agree, though, that the government and the feds at this point are doing the right thing in not exacerbating this situation? Absolutely. We don't want another Waco. We don't need another Ruby Ridge, but you've got to let people get out of there. And shouldn't these guys put down their guns and at least talk before they bring up the fact that they've got guns?
I think that talking is always a great way to solve problems. I think you want to settle your issues rather than fight it out. I deployed in 2 wars. I don't like conflict. I like resolution. Our system is a good system. If it works, if everybody insists that it be fair to everybody.
I will give you that. It has to be fair all the way around, from the individuals involved and also the government as well. You are exactly correct there. Colonel, let's revisit this here in a couple of days and see where it goes, because it's an interesting situation. Colonel Kurt Schlichter, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We will continue to watch this story. Panic on Wall Street. I got your attention. Come on back on the Hard